This new Stasis build creates so many crystals that it will make ads think twice before coming anywhere near you. No, but I mean, you'll create so many Stasis crystals that it will obliterate everything in your path. Now you might think, okay, that sounds pretty good for a simple lost sector, but what about a master activity while under the recommended power level? Yeah, it's not bad. That is when you don't shatter frozen exploding thrall while you're on low health, but other than that, it's a pretty decent build for effective ad clearing in all types of content, including these master difficulty ones. As a TLDR, you'll have Stasis wall barricades one after another with a stupidly fast cooldown, and just being near stasis crystals will give you more damage resistance and make close range combat much better. But pairing this with our mods will make this a whole lot better, so guys stay tuned, because this new Titan build is actually really good. Now this video is sponsored by USMMO. If you're looking for cheap Destiny 2 silver, they have just that. See the details below along with my discount code, and if you like this video, then feel free to leave a rating, subscribe and share for more builds like this, and now let's cause complete ice chaos. Now, as always, if you like these build videos and you want to see more top builds and updated builds for Destiny 2 Witch Queen for all the new seasons and DLCs to come, then the full playlist is linked down below, and you can view my channel for all the latest build playlists up to date for the current year of Destiny 2. Now with this build, you can play it two ways. You can be aggressive and run around freezing and shattering everything, or you can stay back and protect yourself and allies using stasis walls, assuming you don't throw it down as they're about to use a rocket launcher. But however you choose to use this build, it'll be worth using in endgame PvE. But is it the best build in the game? Currently no, because Void 3.0 builds are just insane right now. But as a build for effective ad clearing, it's definitely in the top, considering Stasis as a whole on a Titan has seen much better days. So how this build works is you'll first run in and use your Barricade. This will provide you with damage resistance and the Rally Barricade buff. Then getting a kill will spawn a Void Elemental Well, which will last a really long time, so there's no rush in picking it up. But once you do, you'll get even more damage resistance and volatile rounds for your Void weapons. Then you just go on a killing spree. While all this is going on, you'll be generating diamond lances, which you'll use on ads or bosses to freeze them and then shatter them, as well as using your grenade and class ability to create stasis crystals to either stand behind for extra protection or shatter them for ad clearing. What I like about this build though the most is that you can use it for both offensive and defense, so it is a build that works good whether you want to just rush in for kills or stay back and kill from a distance. And if ads decide to rush you, then you can just slide into the wall and kill everything nearby, which will then boost your ability recharge rate on top. But regardless of how you play, you should be getting your barricade wall back before the current one placed down actually expires. So getting into the setup of the build, the very first thing you'll want to do is put on a stasis subclass, the Titan Behemoth. Now with this you will be running the Rally Barricade, as we are going to be making stasis walls from it, but it doesn't really matter what you choose, Rally or the Tower, but going with Rally is probably the smarter choice as it has a shorter cooldown. But with that I would put on a stasis wall grenade here, as we do want to generate as many crystals as possible. For the aspects, the first one is Cryoclasm, which will allow you to slide into your crystals to shatter them, and man I love this slide a lot. But the downside to this is that you only get one fragment slot, so if you don't use this, then you can go with Tectonic Harvest, which will give you 2 slots but also create stasis shards when you destroy crystals. This is good if you want to go with a full dedicated stasis elemental well build, and if you want to get your melee back instantly. But the second aspect I have is Diamond Lance, because this is pretty fun to use and it's also really effective, and it also gives you 3 fragment slots. So we'll be using Cryoclasm and Diamond Lance with this build, so the fragments will use our Whisper of Torment for the extra grenade energy when we take damage, Whisper of Chains for damage reduction when standing near stasis crystals, which makes sense right, as we will be using a stasis wall barricade all the time, but we also have Whisper of Fissures to increase the damage and size of stasis when we destroy the crystal or frozen enemy, and then lastly the Whisper of Shards to increase the grenade recharge rate when shattering crystals. I'd definitely keep this one on because the base cooldown for a grenade at max discipline is still far too long, so with this you can just shoot part of your wall off every 10 seconds or so, which is completely fine. Now if you have the 5th slot unlocked because you didn't use Cryoclasm, then you can go with Whisper of Refraction for the extra class energy when defeating frozen targets, but it really isn't needed if you do have that 100 resilience. Now the exotic we're using is the Hoarfrost-Z. This is a new Titan exotic that tagged along with the Witch Queen, and you can get this from the end of the Witch Queen campaign on Legendary, or you can farm for it in Legend and Master Lost sectors. But what this does is replace your barricade with a wall of stasis crystals when using the stasis subclass, and it slows nearby targets when created. Standing behind the barricade will grant you and your allies increased weapon reload speed, stability and range, as well as having the damage resistance from the fragment we started into. Pretty fun exotic if I'm being honest, but the mods we're going to have with this are firstly Reaping Wellmaker. This will spawn a void elemental well when we get a kill after using our class ability, and then we're going to use Enduring Wells so that that well spawned will last longer. And the reason for that is because when we place down our Stasis Barricade, we want to make use of it by not running away and picking up that well. So having this mod should give us more time to let the barricade expire and then go and pick up that well, and then place down another and repeat. But when we do pick up that well, we'll get damage resistance because we are going to be using Well of Tenacity, one of the best survivor mods in the game for endgame PvE right now in Season of the Risen. The last mod though is Volatile Flow. Now you will only use this if you are going to be using void weapons, but the mod is insane right now, so I strongly recommend you make the most of it before it goes next season. Now those are the main mods, and that about completes the build, but for the normal mods, which are optional and you can change depending on the activity and what your loadout is. So for me, I'm using double rocket ammo finders in the helmet, then my champion mods in the gauntlets with focus and strike, which you don't need, but it is just nice to have. Then for the chest, I have all the damage resist mods for that survivability in endgame PvE, along with Better Already in the legs to trigger health regen when picking up orbs, as well as my scavenger mod. And then for the class, I'm running double utility kickstart mods, which will ensure that we get that barricade back before the current one actually goes away. But you can swap these out if you need to anytime for any reason, like if you wanted to use a Lucent Finisher for heavy ammo, then you can do that. Now lastly, going over these stats, you want Resilience to 100. That's a must if you want your barricade back quickly, and it's the only reason for having it at 100. But the second stat to 100 is Discipline and then Recovery. A lot of people say prioritize recovery first, but for being an ability build, I find that Discipline and Resilience helps a lot more. Now this build, honestly, I have to admit that this is one of the best stasis builds in the game for ad clearing, because it works for both being aggressive and staying back, which is what I really like about this build. Whereas most builds, you're either a support build for allies, an ad clearing build, or you're an all-out DPS build, but for this one it's kind of a mix between all, and I'd definitely consider giving this a try inside of endgame PvE and see how it performs for you, because I do like this build, but it's still not going to replace my main Void build, because Void is just far too good right now. But guys, that there is your Titan Stasis build using a new Titan exotic in Destiny 2 Witch Queen Season of the Risen. Next, as always, be sure to check out the full playlist below for more top builds in Destiny 2 Season 16, and if you liked this one, why not hit that like? And guys, let me know down below if you'll be using this build or what builds you are currently using, because I'd love to hear. But for now, take care, have a good one, and I'll see you all very soon for the next video.